Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
So we have a very important show today because we're all so worried about the virus. I just heard the story about these poor people stuck on these cruise ships and all, but I have a real author and perfectionist with this. He's someone who's well-skilled with all these viruses, Dr. CASS Ingram. He's author of The Infection Connection, How to Avoid Getting Sick on a Plane and in General. And more or less, we're going to talk about what's going on now with this coronavirus. So thank you, Dr. Ingram. You're calling in from Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois, and great to be with you. I just am teaching about 200 physicians about our research on the coronavirus. And how 10 years ago we obliterated it in vitro study.
Really?
And using natural remedies. And really, everybody should know about it. Now, whether or not you want to claim to do something for the situation in China, that's up to you. But the fact is the research has been done, published as an abstract, and I think everybody should know what we did.
I agree. So just tell us about what people should be doing.
Well, what we did in the study was we infected the chicken embryonic cells with this really aggressive coronavirus, similar to what you see today, not exactly. And there's tens of millions of viruses in the slurry, okay? It could infect a human, it could infect an animal, but it's a scientific study. We then added, we knew it, we added the wild oregano oil. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yes. Now, you talked about this on our show before, wild oregano oil, and you can't get that casually either.
No, you cannot. You have to get the right stuff, and so we put that in there, and it killed 99.9% of the coronavirus. And it did it in 15 or 20 minutes. And it killed like 80% in 5 minutes. Then it took a little longer to kill the rest. We then took a capsule product that's in the health stores, opened up the capsules, and it killed 100%. This was a combination, and it worked about twice as fast. This particular thing was a combination of oregano, cumin, cinnamon, and sage oils. And it's actually more potent even than the oregano oil. We then, in a different study on bacteria, but it's still relevant, used a spray to kill the MRSA, MRSA.
Yes, I know.
Because this particular virus in China tends to like surfaces. MRSA likes surfaces. So we need something that we can spray around the house, spray in our car, spray in a hotel room, spray our chest, spray around in the airplane. Why not? And it's called Orega spray, notably, with oregano, bay leaf, and sage, I think, but whatever. But in other words, I already know if the Chinese government called me, I wouldn't even need a mask. I'd take my Oregarest, my kit, my oil of oregano, P73, the wild kind, and I would take the spray, and I would be taking them and using them, and I wouldn't get sick. Not like they're getting sick anyway.
So have you offered all this now? Are you trying to get to them?
Well, I don't know. I know when my research is 10 years old. When it trended online, the Washington Post, Twitter, Google, and Facebook all suppressed it.
Really?
Yeah, they did. So the attitude is crush the natural idea, destroy it, so that pharmaceuticals can gain the advantage. Nobody's trying to gain an advantage. My issue is I have the answer that would help these people would help solve this issue. It's costing $100, $200 billion a day. I know how to solve it now. That's what my research shows. So I'm going to do more research. I'm working on conducting another trial. I don't know what else I could do.
It's amazing.
Make fun of my study.
Right.
Study is compelling.
Are you on Facebook or have you? Where are you showing
Yeah, on
this?
Facebook, you can see me showing the study. And on my YouTube channel, if you put in CASS Ingram, YouTube, coronavirus, or whatever, I'm not trying, you'll find I did the video, and I show the study results to everybody. I hope that it gets to the Chinese people who are losing their mothers, their fathers, their sons, their daughters, their doctors, their nurses. I hope it gets to them.
Isn't it incredible that here you have something, but what you need to do maybe is to get to the Chinese research people, the doctors. They would probably be very open for this.
Well, what we're doing is we're going to our top American investigators. Then they'll do the study. Then they will, as a professional investigator, they'll share the data with the WHO and with the others. So we're hoping to get to it that way. But yeah, I mean, and I understand that the Chinese are starting to order some of the supplements that I talk about. So hopefully that'll get to them, and if they have a couple people that get wiped, that get cured, then I hope it gets around.
Isn't it interesting?
I'm telling you right now.
Right.
You give me a Chinese hospital, you give me an area, I go in, I tell them what to do, it stops. It's just that good. Now, our study shows, and others too, that the oregano and the other spices, they melt the virus. They just shatter it. They destroy the outside coat, and it's dead, finished. So if you have trillions of viruses, you have to attack them, or they'll kill you, potentially. And so I don't have any fear. Yesterday, I would go to China and solve this issue. I'm going to do the oil of wild oregano super strength. I'm not trying to promote a company, believe me. I'm just telling you. I would do, and I wouldn't take the counterfeits. There's some weirdo counterfeits on the eBay and Amazon, so I'd make sure and get the legitimate stuff. I'd maybe go to Save a Lot or Toonies, someplace like that, or maybe some of the Whole Foods. I would take the Oregano multiple spice. Then I show that in the studies and in my Facebook. I'm showing you dumping out the capsules. I'm not trying to show a brand. You see, I'm showing you what it is. That's what we studied, just a scientific point of view. These dry capsules, the technology is you take the oil of cinnamon, clove, or cinnamon, oregano, and sage, right? You dry those oils to a dust. Can you imagine? If you have 1,000 pounds of oregano oil, you dry it to 10 pounds of dust. Then you encapsulate that. So no wonder it's $50 a bottle. It destroys everything it touches. Finished. COPD, emphysema, asthma, chest congestion, bone infection, wound infection. Why doesn't everybody know about this? Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel, food poisoning. It destroys it.
Oh, okay. I have a question. Have you used any of these things on dogs?
Oh, well, on dogs, wonderful, because dogs have mange, they have parasites, they have abscesses, they have wonderful. Just sprinkle a few. The dogs love it, especially if they're sick.
Oh, well, I have a dog I rescued with congestive heart failure and had some pneumonia, and I don't know. I wouldn't want to hurt him, but
well, how can you hurt him with the oregano?
I don't know.
You can't.
You can't.
No. It would hurt him not to give it to him.
So how do you give a dog?
Well, you take this Oregano and you just put a pinch in their food. You spray their coat of hair with the spray. Put a couple drops of oil on their pads of their feet in the water. Now, you don't have to knead much. See how they do. It's not going to make them worse. Small amounts, you see. It's still a spice. The spices are in their food, but they don't put huge quantities. And the same with the dog. You would start a little bit low, and if he needs more, you give him more.
That's very interesting. So it's funny. Last night I went to an organization I've never heard about before. Something, if you haven't, you ought to really contact them. They could really use you. It's called the Holistic Chamber of Commerce.
Oh.
They have them all over the country, and I didn't know that, but I went to it last night, and I only wish you lived here because you ought to be one of their next speakers. That they had a physician who believes in a lot of the things you were talking about plant-based foods and all, and
yeah.
But you are fantastic, and I'm just thinking, so there must be a place there in your area.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's
and I will tell you, for the heart failure, black seed is also good. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's good. It's a powerhouse for the congestive heart failure.
What
Oil of black seed.
oil? What is the seed? What is the black seed?
The seed is a seed that grows in Turkey or India, and they press it. But you want to get a good quality, get the North American herb and spice oil of black seed, get a little bit of the oregano oil, the right one. You know, this is the problem, is counterfeit and poor quality. That wouldn't be good for the dog. But if you get the original stuff, it's been used on dogs and cats now for 50 years. And that would be the P73 oil of oregano. Also, the juice. Juice is for congestive heart failure, easy to put in the water. Juice of wild oregano, humans or dogs, and the black seed oil. 3 natural things that we eat every day and is a lot safer than what we put in the pet foods.
Wow. So now when you say we eat it every day, I mean, how do people...
we eat it. We eat pizza. We eat the spaghetti. When we eat naan bread, there's those little black seeds. That's the black seeds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So we are eating it. So now we just take a more concentrated form. If we have a sickness, if we have a heart failure, if we have arrhythmia, if we have, in the case of the oregano, congestion or asthma or rhinitis or allergy or cold or flu. Well, it's Florida, so we don't expect a pandemic. But I guess you don't know. I mean, if somebody's fully infected and then they get around their colleagues and then the colleagues get sick, we could see some of these things.
So tell me, let's go back when you were just a kid. Were you interested in bugs and things like this? I mean, how did you get interested?
In bugs, and I wasn't interested in becoming a doctor. It only happened by the grace of God that I got into this. But now that I'm only doing natural. I don't use any chemicals. I don't use even chemical vitamins. I just stay away from anything synthetic. If God didn't make it, I don't want it. And so,
it's interesting.
I like people not to get sicker. See, when I was in my internship, I saw a couple of the doctors I was with, the patient died. And I don't like to see that happen. I don't like to see us.
And so do you actually have a practice? How do you promote this?
Well, I just now write so many books and do so much media. I've popularized oil of oregano, popularized black seed oil, popularized chaga, and since I've written 30 books, I'm an expert on so many of these diseases and outbreaks and syndromes and Lyme disease, and fungus and mold, and now viruses. Plus, I've done a number of scientific studies that on natural remedies, right? So,
right, that gives
it some credibility instead of just being a salesman or something like that.
Right.
We did the study on the coronavirus, on the candida, on the fungus, and showed positive results with no toxicity.
Absolutely
but then
amazing.
You wouldn't expect anybody to get sick from oregano oil, real oregano oil made.
Nope.
However, we found counterfeit oregano oil on the market that would make you sick. And I have some patent attorneys going after them to collect it from their warehouse and stop them. Not my company, but I suggested they do that because I'm talking about natural remedies, not just go buy anything. You better know what you're doing before you lay down the money.
Right.
So I'm talking about the research 30 years, P73 oil of oregano, the exceptionally powerful, invaluable Oregarest. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about some generic oil of oregano that nobody knows where they got it from or if they cloned it. So I'm talking about wild stuff. That's all.
Well, you're wild, and I'm so always happy now that I got you back. We're going to have to do this, and I have to say that you need to contact someone about this, the virus, of course, and I know you will. You're really a force, and Doctor.
We're doing that, and our biggest thing right now is to get the word out for Americans so they would know what to do if they get sick.
Yeah, right. Well, Dr. Ingram, thank you very much for joining us today. Sure. I'm really appreciative of it. And
it's CASSingram.com,
right.
CASSingram.com, and also Oreganol.com, and hunt down the local health food store. They know about my work.
I will.
Wild oregano oil.
Right,
and
I will. It's wonderful that you took the time to do this. Thank you.
And
Bye-bye. We'll be back.